Lee, what's your position or role with the club?
Well, I've been in the club. I've been a member since the 60s. And then I've gone to the last, I don't know, 10 or 12 of these conventions. And so I was manager of the Darrin registry. However, I've had some few health problems, and I had to turn that over to somebody else.
And is this your first time being back where the cars were built?
It is. Yes, it is.
And what do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think, I'm excited to be here because I've restored 12 Darrins.
Wow.
And so they call me an expert. I never say I'm an expert, but I know a lot about them.
You've restored 12 of these.
12 of these.
And there was only 400 and 33?
435.
That's a good percentage.
And I own 5 of them.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
Yeah.
Well, you hold, that's the largest percentage probably by one person?
I don't know. There's other people out there that have a bunch of them, but they're not all restored cars. So all of mine are, restorations, rotisserie, frame-off restorations.
And where did you travel from?
Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona. So there's two of you from Arizona here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's more than 2, but yeah, at least 2.
And did you bring a car with you?
No, I wanted to, but unfortunately my health hasn't been the best, and I have a diesel with a trailer, a stacker trailer. I can bring 2, and then I have one in Palatine, Illinois. Mm-hmm. And so I was going to bring 5 of them, but it's just my wife, unfortunately, and not unfortunately, but she didn't want. I had a bad situation last year, and I ended up in the hospital and blah blah blah. So she didn't want me to go 1,800 miles one way with a stacker trailer and a truck,
And you were going to bring 5 Darrins?
I was going to bring 2.
Oh, okay.
I have one in Palatine, Illinois, and then a friend of mine, his name is John, he's got one. And then my brother was going to tow another one up with another trailer. And so I was going to bring 5 of them to the event. However, it just didn't work out.
It happens.
Yeah.
So what attracts you to the Darrin?
I bought a Darrin, my brother and I bought a Darrin in 1961 in Cleveland, Ohio. We were just turning 16 years old. And so a friend of my older brother had a Darrin that his dad bought him new, got into a wreck, and he didn't want it. He didn't want the car any longer. So he came, my brother said, "Do you want to buy a Darrin?" I said, "What's a Darrin?" I didn't know what a Darrin was. Well, it's a sports car. And we're like just getting our licenses.
Sure.
So I didn't care what kind of sports car it was, as long as it was a sports car. I was buying. So it cost us, he wanted $150 for it.
The wreck Darrin.
Yes.
Okay.
Although it wasn't wrecked badly, it was the driver's door and the driver front fender was pretty well crushed in.
Okay.
And my dad helped us fix it. We bought it.
Yeah.
And I always tell the story that my dad looked at me because I told him it's going to be $150, and he looks at me and he says, "Are you nuts?" And I said, "Well," he says, "Yeah. Back then you could buy running cars for $35, $50,
Right.
So I swear that I had to pay him back. And so I swear I must have paid back $1,000 worth of chores for the $150 that he gave me. But he gave it to me, and I bought that car. And we moved to Tucson in 1963, and we flat towed it to Tucson, and then I ended up turning that car into a drag race car.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so we raced it for about 10 years. Let's see, I got it in 63. Yeah, maybe 7 or 10 years. I raced it in and around that area in California, and I even went to Indianapolis one year and raced it there. And then I sold it, and by that time I had put in a 440 cubic inch big block Chevy with Tilborn fuel injection and all of that, and so I can actually say that it's the fastest Darrin in the world. We ran 950s at 150 miles an hour in one of those.
That's amazing and scary.
It was, we were kids, we were young. Right. You don't have any fear when you're young. You just go out there.
You're bulletproof.
Exactly. Right. So that's how I got involved in it. And then when I got to Tucson, I saw another one at a used car lot, and I bought that one in, I think, 65 for like $600. And then it just went on. Every time I saw a Darrin that was reasonable, I would buy it. And so the one I bought in Tucson My sister used it. She went to San Diego State. She had the car for about 12 years. And then she got married and had kids, and it was too small a car to fuss around with. Although these are fair weather cars, so in San Diego it worked out pretty well. But,
Sure, sure.
and then we brought that one back, stored it, I don't know, for maybe 15, 20 years. And then my brother and I decided we had to do something with it. We had to sell it or restore it. So that's the first car I restored. It's a red one, just like that one. And then I put a big engine in that one because that's what I knew and that's what I liked. But
Sure.
if you looked at the car from the outside, and as long as you didn't open the hood or hear it run, it looks bone stock. And even though I put in a 502, it's a 500 horsepower motor with an automatic, I left the clutch pedal in there. I mean, everything,
Right.
like I say, is if you looked at it,
You think it was stuck?
you'd think it was stock, yeah. So I wanted to keep it that way.
Sure.
And that was a pretty interesting car. And then the rumor is that Dutch-Darrin, the designer of that car, had put Cadillac motors in them. So I had really never seen one with a Cadillac. So I thought, well, why not? So I bought a actually 54 331 Cadillac motor and put it in that car, in a white one. I got because I have all the colors, and I put it in a white one. And I liked it. So then the other two that I restored, I did them stock with the 6-cylinder and the 3-speed with electric overdrive. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes. And then other people saw the work that I had done. I'm not in the restoration business.
Sure.
And they just said, would you do my car? And I went, oh, okay. So just before I got sick, I took on 4 other cars.
Wow.
One's a prototype, which you hardly ever see.
Yeah.
And then I get sick, and it's very difficult for me to get them done. But my brother's helping me, a friend of mine is helping, and then a fellow named Rudy Phillips, who knows Darrin's inside and out, and he comes and helps, which is from California, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And so I promised these people I get them done, and I'll get them done. And I told them they'd look museum quality, and they will. So I'll have done 4 for people other than myself.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And so what are the original colors that it came in?
It came in the green one like this, called pine tint green, and then the red one, which was red sail or sail red, what do you want, and then a yellow one, and then a white. And they called the white one champagne.
And being from Jackson, I see this one often, right? So I never knew if it was the original color or something
Oh,
they
that's the
painted.
original color, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call it pine tint.
And I think the Yeo Carriage shop here in Jackson has a white one.
Oh, yeah.
So do you guys know where all the Darrins are?
We don't know where all of them are. The registry, we try to locate as many as we can, and I think they've found, I think, 260 or close to 300. Some of them are running and restored. I'm just going to guess, and I don't know the truth of it, but I'm going to guess 60 or 70 are running or restored, and there's probably a couple hundred of them out there in pieces and parts.
It would be fantastic for one to just appear, like been hidden away, right?
Yeah, exactly. They do. You see them, and especially since these cars now bring, somewhere close to $200,000.
Wow.
So then all of a sudden, when they start bringing that kind of money, anybody that had one or knew of one or whatever would find it or fix it or sell it or whatever. Yeah. No, these used to be you could buy them, relatively cheap, but now if you find one of these cars that needs a total restoration, they're $35,000-$40,000, and they look really bad.
Right. Scare you.
It does, and they're upwards north of $100,000 to restore them. And I tell people, I say, don't even think about buying this car as an investment, because you're not going to make any money.
It's a labor of love.
It is. Yeah. You got to love the car. They're great cars. They're fun to drive. Again, these sliding doors wouldn't work very well in the winter. And so in certain places they're great. Other places you can get them out in the summer. And so they're, I don't know how to, they weren't manufactured. They weren't perfect when they manufactured them.
Sure.
And so they leak here. You know, they had side curtains. This one, they're not on there now, but they don't have windows in the doors. And so you had side curtains. So the rumor is that if you bought a new one of these, they gave you a free raincoat. So I don't know if that's true or not. But
It's a good story.
it is, yeah.
Well, thank you, and enjoy your time here in
Hey,
Michigan.
thank you. Thanks for doing this.
Leo, this is, again, another beautiful example of a Kaiser.
I think so.
How long have you owned this one?
I think it's around 37 years.
And what drew you to this car?
Blanche Miracle. Some of you know that name anyway. She was telling how great it was, and then I seen an ad when I was at Hershey, and the car being from Jackson and me being from Jackson, it kind of attracted me, so I ended up buying it and hauling it back and spent 7 or 8 years restoring it. And we got done in 1992. We got our senior award in 92, and we haven't really done anything to it since.
Well, that's a fantastic restoration. It looks fresh.
Yeah, it sits in the baggie a good share of the time.
So you saw it for sale in Hershey, but the car was in Jackson.
The car
Where you're
was in
from?
New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah, the car was in New Jersey.
All right.
Yeah, there's a recipe card on the back of a pickup truck. Said Kaiser-Darrin for sale and had a phone number. And I took it down and thought about it. Probably a month later, I called it up and they had it. And it was kind of red at the time. And when we started taking the paint off, we found out it was maroon at the time, and there's a couple of other colors. But down underside, we found the original color, and the tag is supposed to be pine tit, so that's the way it went back.
Well, it's beautiful, and I see you and your wife out at cruise-ins downtown and different car shows.
Oh yeah,
So
we drive it, take it out and go. Going to deteriorate just sitting around, you might as well get some use out of it.
that's right. Cars are made to be driven, right?
And it's something that draws a crowd when it gets out. I say my wife had got more miles on that door than the car has.
Well, it's a beautiful car, and you've been a good steward of taking care of it.
Thank you.
And thanks for talking to us.
Yeah.
record. All right, I see it.
Now,
Sound good? All right, say your name and
Okay.
spell it again.
Dennis Cook, Koch, from Quincy, Illinois.
Sound good? Okay. Do I have to hold it real close or?
Okay.
Okay. All right.